just back to the Iran point, for example, when the revolution was kicking off, like in 1979, in the 70s itself, the darling of this identity-obsessed left, Michel Foucault, he actually called the Ayatollah's regime like a spiritual revolution, and he actually called it political spirituality. And obviously the left buys that and backs it, despite it turning into the theocratic, horrible, brutalist state that we see today.
It's mad that no matter how many times history repeats itself, people just can't seem to see it. Or there's a large enough group of people who, it's almost like they are doing that English literature practice. They're looking at Iran and looking and they're going, how can we make the most irrational belief true? And that's what Foucault was all about, wasn't it? And I mean, Foucault also believed in adult-child relations, I believe.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, because there was no real truth to him. Exact truth.
So why not?
Exactly. Yeah.
Anything.
And power dynamics, he loved that. So
what are some of the things, is it actually true that in Iran, say, you said people, are they executed for dancing, women?
Yeah, so what happened was there was basically that this girl, she was a Kurdish girl, Kurdish Iranian, called Mahsa Amini, and she went to Tehran for the first time in her life as a tourist, just to see her own capital city. And she was wearing hijab, as you're supposed to there. But the only issue was that she showed 2 strands of her hair. Like literally, if I was wearing hijab and just this front was showing, it just wasn't good enough for the morality police.
Oh my God.
And they told her off. And obviously, because of how severe they are in the ways that they treat women, they ended up beating her black and blue until she died. And what that did was that sparked like a nationwide uprising, because this has been like decades long policing of women's bodies and telling them what to wear, and a very like Islamicized version of how they should be. And on the back of that, women started removing their hijabs and kind of coming out onto the streets and recording themselves dancing. And the morality police doubled down. And so they would like beat and execute and torture women who were seen to be dancing, who took their headscarves off, who were recording themselves and putting them on social media. And then you had the kind of White Wednesday movement that started on the back of that as well.
What's that?
That was essentially a movement started by a lady called Masih Ali-Najad. And she was the voice of the voiceless for Iranian women, basically, who were stuck back in Iran. And it was on Wednesday, you were to wear white, or you were to take off your hijab or wear a white hijab. But it was like a subtle yet defiant protest, and a lot of women would put a little pole and their white hijab on that and kind of wave it around and record themselves and send it to her. So it became a social media protest against the Islamic regime and the morality police, and it was kind of their way of rebelling, and it just spread like wildfire.
That's a really beautiful image. You can imagine again the film of that, like 10 years later they make a film of that and they show people in Britain taking to the streets, leftists, and not supporting those people, but supporting the Ayatollah.
Yeah, exactly. And where are the Western feminists when it comes to that? Apparently, no. They'd rather choose the Ayatollah as opposed to these women. I mean, listen to the women of Iran. What are they saying? They're actually saying we want to break these shackles of the Islamist regime. They don't speak for us. They don't represent us. But apparently, again, that doesn't fit their narrative. And so they'd rather side with people like the Ayatollah in that regime.
Who is this Ayatollah guy? Ayatollah is like a role, isn't it? And so if he dies, another one becomes Ayatollah.
Yeah. I come from a Sunni background, so all of this is also very like interesting and weird to me, because we have a huge Sunni and Shia divide. So even as a Muslim, everything the Shias do, you think, oh, well, that's weird, and everything we do, they think that's weird. And there's like this unspoken hatred.
Oh God.
So when I realized what the Ayatollah concept was, it's kind of like he's the man, the leader in waiting until they're waiting for the return of their hidden imam.
Right.
So there's a Shia imam that will return towards the end of days, basically. And this imam currently is, I mean, in the Western sense, it's kind of like the divine right to rule, but in a Shia Islamic sense, and he has that divine authority. There's a terminology for it in Islam as well called like Waliyat-e something, where he's like the jurist of Islam.
Right.
So yeah, essentially he's God's authority on earth at the moment. And in a perfect state, he should be expanding that role beyond Iran.
I see. And what's his name? He's, what is it? That guy? The Ayatollah?
Ayatollah Khamenei.
Yes.
Yes.
I didn't want to say that name because I'd just get it wrong. What do we know about him? Do we know much about him?
I honestly don't know much except for the fact that he was exiled. He was he wasn't. He was actually properly exiled, I think, to France. And that's when the leftists thought, let's use him to prop up this revolution. Little did they know that would, kind of shoot them in the foot. But they kind of brought him back in order to spark this revolution against the Shah. And there we have it. But they're always lying in wait, these ayatollahs. There is a process that they're chosen, kind of like how the Dalai Lamas go through their process as well. As you said, if one dies, there will be a whole kind of replacement and the next one will come. But I don't know much about why he was exiled before or what he was up to before that.
It's interesting. So he's like the same guy from the overthrowing.
Yes, yeah.
He's still him. So he would have been the one who put the fatwa out on Salman Rushdie.
No, that's another one. There's Khomeinai's and Khomeinis.
Oh, for God's sake. So who's he?
That's I think, I don't know if that's it passes down as a familial thing, but is another Ayatollah.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, that put the fatwa on Rushdie, yeah.
People are going to be commenting, Andrew, why do you do this podcast? You don't know anything. But that's why I interview other people.
I'm not Iranian either. And I did not even focus on like Iranian history until the Mahsa Amini thing. That's kind of what shook me up. And I thought, well, what's going on in Iran? And it got me by surprise because, like, for example, countries like Pakistan, Afghanistan, it just seems like they're kind of willing... They're willing subjects to Islam, if you will, to some degree. But in Iran, the case seems so different, especially from a woman's perspective. I was like, every Iranian that I've met, they openly say, we're not Arabs, we hate Islam. Islam is not our religion. And I was like, wow, like, what is this bravery? Where do you guys get this from? And then I realized, wow, you have to go through a regime like dealing with the Ayatollahs to come to that conclusion. Maybe if Pakistan had the full brunt of Sharia law put on it, Pakistanis would rise up in the same way.